Ladies and gentlemen, what is up and welcome to today's Alliance War Defender tier list video where we're going to be going over who I currently perceive to be some of the best options for Alliance War Defense, and we're really going to break it down in this video and talk about some crazy kind of node synergies to make certain defenders very powerful, and kind of my general observations on where certain champions are kind of getting the most kills and the most value in terms of overall placement. But I guess the first thing to start is kind of the tier list, because it's a little bit different to kind of the offense one, which is champions that you play, and this one is, entirely focused on champions that make for potentially good Alliance War Defenders. Now, I've split it into a total of 4 columns. So we start with the annoying tier, and the annoying tier are generally champions that you queue against, and maybe they have something that chips away a little bit of damage, certain mechanics that sometimes people forget about and occasionally slip up and take a little bit of damage or might die to, but generally they're not really the champions that tend to rake up like a lot of kills, but they can be very annoying to fight on quite a few occasions. And then we move on to the douchebag tier, which are champions that if you are not prepared, if you're not on the ball, you can screw up very quickly and take a lot of damage. You might take a special free, you might take quite a bit of damage at the start, but these champions are kind of, I believe, a step up in terms of general threat level from a lot of the champions that I classify in annoying tier. And then finally we have the proper asshole tier, which are kind of just the worst champions to fight, generally speaking, especially combined with some really nasty nodes. They can just make you want to quit the video game, and that is really what is what building a strong Alliance War Defense is about. It's about giving the enemy team a really horrible time trying to clear your stuff. And then finally we have the final column, which are kind of the 5 characters that I believe tend to make for the best Alliance War bosses in the higher tiers. Even in the lower tiers, these champions are massive roadblocks for a lot of players who have maybe not built up their roster fully. But yeah, this is just kind of my general layout, and we're going to go through kind of each tier and talk about, various champions and some of the problems there. So let's start off with the proper asshole tier, some of the most annoying champions to fight. So Dormammu Awakened with Mystic Dispersion Mastery. Every single Mystic character in this tier list, if you want to use Mystics for defense, you need to be locking big Mystic Dispersion. That is what it is all about. But Dormammu, he plays so aggressively. You've got a lot of people swiping back, triggering Dexterity. You get Degeneration as well when buffs expire, when your Dexterity buff expires. A lot of people aren't very good at evading Dormammu's special too. So yeah, Dormammu is just one hell of a champion to fight, and if you put him on nodes that kind of either increase power gain and make him even more of an annoyance there, or like poison and bleed nodes so that people can't bring these standard champions, or if they even try to bring a champion like Blade, there's a chance that they're going to take an insane amount of poison damage as well. It can be a bit of a problem there as well, but generally like power gain or poison and bleed nodes I'd look at for Dormammu. And then we have Mephisto, who is also a massive pain in the ass. You got power gain and incinerate as the main challenges whenever you're fighting a Mephisto, but also he's got a little bit of regeneration whenever he hits that 30% threshold, and temporary immunity as well. Really annoying champion to fight. There do exist counters to Mephisto in terms of champions like Blade and Void, primarily for Alliance War, but Mephisto, anything with power gain, you want to hope that you get as many Aura of Incineration procs and hopefully push him to a special free. That's kind of what you're hoping for with Mephisto. So yeah, Mephisto is really good on any node, to be honest. Then we have Magic, a very annoying champion. Anything that kind of increases power gain or ability procs, very good for Magic in general. The limbo damage is still very annoying. There are quite a few counters to Magic now, but still, she does rake up, generally speaking, quite a few kills here and there. Then we also have Medusa, who is turning out to be one of my favorite defenders. I see so many kills, mainly in kind of the mid to lower tier Alliance Wars, but also sometimes in the top Alliance Wars, she is sniping as well, because Medusa, she's a villain character, so Blade doesn't have a really easy time with her, and if you put her on a node that kind of reduces the chance that her Fury is going to be nullified, like, she can be a really nasty champion to fight. I've even seen people pairing her with a Black Bolt synergy to make her even worse of a fight, because you have much longer uptime if you have 6 stacks of Furies building up. So yeah, Medusa can be a massive pain in the ass to fight, but If you're looking to counter Medusa, like Iceman, Scarlet Witch, Dr. Voodoo, Magic in some scenarios, those can be helpful champions to a certain extent. And then we also have Nightcrawler, just standard evade champion. Nightcrawler, man, he occasionally gets me, occasionally chips me down. I still find Nightcrawler so incredibly annoying to fight, and I feel like evade still has a really high level of value because there are a lot of like random BS scenarios and people not being like fully on the ball that can really mess you up. But Nightcrawler, similar to kind of Spider-Man and Modok, you want to put either of these three champions on nodes that either make them immune to debuffs, reduce the stun duration, or prevent them from being stunned altogether. So yeah, when it comes to these champions, that's what you want to look out for. Spider-Man Classic, a similar story in terms of the evade, but his special one is also quite annoying. Unblockable special ones can be quite good for Spider-Man Classic as well. Then we have Modok. There is this perfect node, like right in the middle. I think it's like a stun immune bleed node with like Rolling Thunder or Breakthrough or something like that. And it's toward the end of the middle path, and it is amazing for Modok. Modok gets so many kills on that, but also as the debuff immune mini boss, Modok has a lot of value in that fight in particular. So yeah, my Modoks have been rocking up like a crazy amount of kills on Alliance War Defense. I think it's very rare that I've had like fought an Alliance War, you know, within the last few weeks since I've ranked up my Modoks and got like less than 5 to 10 kills with them. My last Alliance War, both my Modoks, because I got 5-star and a 4-star one, managed to get, I think it was like 16 kills, man. They were just battering the enemy team, but I didn't think many people on the enemy team had a really stacked blade. But yeah, that node in the middle can be quite good for Modoks there. And then we have the douchebag tier, Juggernaut, just anything power gain really, or anything yeah, just that prolongs the fight. Juggernaut can be a massive pain in the ass. Arc Overload, he's not too bad there as well. Mordo, anything power gain is really what you're looking for there. Unstoppable Colossus, power gain as well. That's generally the Mystic Champions. Hyperion, stun immunity to a certain extent helps some people lose control of the fight, but also power gain is really valuable for Hyperion there. And also, I would say nullify resistance nodes. Generally, Medusa is a little bit better, but Hyperion can have some decent value on those nodes as well. But I would say, generally speaking, Medusa and Hyperion, a little bit different. I would say Medusa overall has a bit more value, but Hyperion, anything that has increased power gain can, or like a special 1 power start, can sometimes result in circumstances where people are unable to bait special attacks and then get wrecked by a special 3. And then Iceman, we got the damage at the start via the awakened ability, and also his ice armor, which, you know, can absorb stuns, can make Iceman a little bit tricky, and people can slip up sometimes and perish to Iceman. Then we have Cable, a little bit of regeneration, can synergize quite well with those nodes, but I think one of the things that potentially makes Cable so right in the right circumstances, if somebody with like bleed goes against him, they'll be taking quite a bit of damage from the degeneration at the start. His power gain can potentially, if you get super lucky, kind of propel him quite quickly into a special 3. So there are scenarios where Cable can be a big annoyance, and not too many people have like both of Cable's special attacks like fully down. And then we have Ultron. Both of these characters have evade, and evade can occasionally slip people up. Again, it's not going to be as powerful or as potent as like Nightcrawler or Spider-Man Classic, but still, it can get you a kill now and again. And the same with Spider-Man Miles Morales. His evade charges, they can slip people up, but in my opinion, he's not really as powerful or potent as his kind of Spider-Man Classic counterpart. And then we just have the annoying tier, which is a little bit of chip damage and occasionally can slip people up. The Hood, if he gets to his special 2, can be very annoying to deal with, and with a combo of Mystic Dispersion like that can happen sometimes. Unblockable special 2 nodes, maybe, if you bank in for that. Morningstar, an Awakened Morningstar will bleed the opponent whenever attacked, so it could be, you know, a nice surprise ambush node that might wreck like an Archangel, now that a lot of, well, pretty much all the defenders are hidden. So Morningstar, she can have value, and she can be very annoying in some circumstances there. And then we also have Black Panther Civil War. If you're using this dude, you're on an armor up node. For Ragnarok, I got wrecked by a Thor Ragnarok the other day because I totally forgot. And you have to remember this very, very important tip. You cannot intercept Thor Ragnarok because he has a chance to parry you. And I fought a Thor Ragnarok on like an increased stun duration node with my Dr. Voodoo, and I go in for an intercept. I'm like, I'm hammering out this fight. I'm 40 hits in. Intercept, I get stunned. It's like a double parry. It's probably like a 5-second stun duration, and yeah, he just absolutely melts me down. But there's also the thing of like, you know, in slightly newer Alliance Wars, for Ragnarok, a lot of people may be unaware of his power gain and how to play around that. So yeah, in the lower tiers, you might be able to get some Super Saiyan kills there. Kingpin, bit annoying to fight because of his shrug off, kind of similar scenario with the Agent Venom there. Both of those champions can be a little bit of a pain in the ass. And we have Punisher up next, and Punisher on the node, what is it? I think it's the Flare node, which has kind of the degeneration like every single second. If you get Punisher's Deferred Death to proc, that can really, you know, take down a lot of health from the opponent, and not too many people are super great at handling both of Punisher's special attacks. So on an Unblockable Special 1, Unblockable Special 2, he might have a little bit of value, but I don't know, you can outrange both of them at the start, so not really too great, but he's a bit of an annoying champion to fight, generally speaking. Yondu as well, he can potentially bleed via his Yakka arrow attacks. Green Goblin has some fantastic synergy on any node that increases regeneration, especially one of the middle lane nodes that has like 200% increased regeneration, because Green Goblin, when I think he has more stacks of, I think it's Madness than Cunning, or the stacks are the same, he's going to regenerate for like 66% of the damage taken, and that means that if it's on like a really stacked regeneration node, unless somebody brings a heal block champion, yeah, they're just not going to be able to get Green Goblin down. So you need to kind of keep an eye out for that if you're fighting Green Goblins. Punisher 2099 is so annoying to fight. You cannot like get an in after either his special attacks. So yeah, he's just a pain in the ass as well. Vision OG, when awakened, he can select some people up, you know, and some people might forget about his random burst of power gain. But again, there's not really any guarantee that he's going to get you kills there. He just might have the scenario there. Also, Electro, Blades Tear. I mean, Electro, Rhino, a lot of these science champions, I'll say Electro, Rhino, and Void, they all have little annoying bits about them. Electro, you know, bit of damage back. Rhino, unstoppable charge, and Void, potential debuffs if your opponent isn't counting their combo. These can all be quite annoying champions, but simultaneously a Blade goes through all of these like butter, mate. It'll cut them up so incredibly quickly, but they can be sometimes a little bit annoying. And then we have other champions like Abomination and Quake. Abomination, again, a bit of a surprise node if somebody, you know, is maybe expecting a Spider-Man classic and then queues up with like an Archangel and goes against Abomination. They're going to take a lot of poison damage. So, you know, in that kind of scenario, now that defenders are hidden, might have a bit of additional value there. But again, it's probably not a champion you want to take up to 550, but I don't know, it might be an option if you want to play that game. And then finally, Quake. If Quake gets off heavy attacks, you know, there's a chance you could be stunned, or if, you know, you accidentally block one of their specials instead of evading it, you might take some of the what is it, ricochet charges? Is it ricochet? I think it's like that. The earthquake charges, and then you have a chance to be stunned, and if you get stunned, she's gonna absolutely wreck you. But a good player kind of knows how to avoid them for the most part. But these are kind of all the champions that I define, you know, as annoying. We got the douchebag tier and the proper asshole tier. I left a lot of champions out of this tier list because I think there are just so many champions. Like, just to go over like a few examples, like let's talk about like Drax, Gamora, Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon. There are so many characters that have like nothing going on for Alliance War defense. They have no defensive properties at all. So yeah, I kind of left out every single champion that I thought was somewhat irrelevant, or just doesn't really do much at all in the current state of Alliance War on defense, or it's just way too easy to fight for the average person. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think of the Alliance War defenders. Do you kind of agree with the list? Would you reposition them slightly differently? What are you finding at the moment is giving you the most kills on Alliance War defense? Apart from that, thank you very much for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.